What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the channel, man. And today this video gonna be a spin-off off one of my popular videos on this channel was being black in Arizona, the cultural shock from moving from Detroit. Well, in this video we're gonna do a spin-off on that and talk about 5 things that I miss when I moved out here from Detroit and 5 things I don't miss when I moved out here from Detroit. So y'all gonna go ahead and sit back and relax, and I'm gonna let y'all vibe with me a little bit. If y'all catch me looking to the right over here, which is probably y'all left on the screen, not even sure, I got a whiteboard with some like notes that I'm planning on talking about, some little talking points. So I'll make sure I'm staying on track for you guys, not just rambling on. Yeah, just sit back and enjoy, and we're gonna talk about it. So let's just get straight into it. One of the first things I miss is the soul food, man. I'm not going to lie and tell you guys that, like, just the food culture in general. Soul food is just one of them because it's just nice when I used to just go out and about just regularly to like a gas station and pick up like some catfish or some chicken or like some green beans or greens or something like that. It was just like being in the culture, like it was just easy to get the soul food anytime you want to. But that's just one small snippet of it. But I do miss 2 of my favorite restaurants there that my wife and I used to attend a lot, and that was Southern Fires and Fishbone. So that was like in downtown Detroit. If you guys never been, you must go to check out those 2 restaurants. That's one of my favorite restaurants there. Like they have some like Creole food and stuff like that. So it's very phenomenal food place down there if you've never been. But also, while we're talking about the soul food, like I cannot don't miss it, and that is the Coney dogs, y'all. Like the Coneys, like, you know, I'm a Flintstone, so I like the Flint Coneys the best over the Detroit style Coney. And you don't know the difference between the two. Like a Detroit style Coney is more like a chili base on top of the Cogles hot dog, versus the Flint, we use the same Cogles hot dog, but we use like a hamburger meat up top with the mustard and onion. That just hit right with me. Now, don't get me wrong, when I moved out here, Arizona got their own type of dog. It's not a Coney, but they call it a Sonoran dog, and they use like a special type of hot dog bun that they toast, and then they wrap that hot dog in bacon, and then they put on a mayo and certain type of salsa and tomatoes and stuff like that. And it's good, but it doesn't quite hit home for me, man, like the Coney dogs. I mean, just having a Coney just hits different, amongst other things I can remember that's just like dedicated solely to the Michigan culture, man, that I miss. The second thing we're gonna talk about is the car culture, man. Like the car culture in Michigan is like no other. Like I thought Arizona had it going on, but they don't really have it going on like the city, man. Like the big 3 is home there. So you know, you got the Ford, you got the GM, you got the Dodge, which is now Stellantis, but we still call it Dodge there. And they got it going on, man. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, man, and just tell you that they don't. Because if it wasn't for the motor city, it wasn't for the vehicle city, like the whole country would be, you know, with horse and carriage and buggies just going around here still. And that's what I feel like Arizona is like, because everything is all spanned out, everything is all distance out. But if it wasn't for those cars, man, like ain't no telling where we would be. But the car culture, I would say, is a lot better in Michigan alone, because we got this long strip from Flint to Detroit that's called Woodward. And during August, around this time, like I would say like next week actually, you know, Woodward Dream Cruise is one of the biggest events that you must attend to, and that's in Detroit. And that's where a lot of people come from all over. They come back, they park their cars. There's a large venues from the big 3 there, and people just have a nice good time. They sit out, they chill, they watch different events, lots of venues that goes on. It brings a lot of masses to Detroit, people, so people get to enjoy the bars and just enjoy the cultural area of Detroit, which is nice. And in Flint, they do the same thing, which is an hour north of Detroit. And they got something called Back to the Bricks. So they do their own little thing too, which is pretty nice. So you got 2 cities that you get to enjoy, and just enjoy that nice drive and that strip between the 2. So you can go to Flint to Detroit and just enjoy that nice little cruise, man. So that's pretty nice there. The third thing I would say that I miss about Detroit would be the malls, Somerset Mall and Great Lakes Crossing, to be specific. Maybe because I spent so much time there, but just bouncing between those two malls, man, it's like a good time because they're both different. Great Lakes Crossing is more like an outlet mall. They have like Legoland there. They have a good restaurant that I like. We're out here on the West Coast, they call it Freddy's. I think Freddy's is in Ohio too, but then like up there we have a Steak and Shake, which is very similar, same type of food and everything, but they do things a little bit different. Like Freddy's got their thing called the fry sauce. Well, they don't have it in Michigan. They call it like the steak and steak sauce or something like that. But yeah, that is something I like about Somerset. Great Lakes Crossing. Somerset is more like a high-end luxury mall, which out here in Arizona is more like called Fashion Square. Now I like they're both the same. They're both two-level malls, but Fashion Square looks a little bit more fancier out here, I shall say. But Somerset is nice as well because you got your, I call it the regular side, where they got the, you know, where your Apple stores is, you got your Journeys and stuff like that. But then they got, you take the Skywalk to go on the other side, and that is where your high-end stores is and stuff like that, where your Louis Vuittons at, your Tiffany and Co., your Canadian Goose and all that stuff. So it's nice seeing that, but just being around it so long, it's more like an open floor plan, I would say. And it's just nice seeing that there in Detroit with this big old globe in the center. So it's pretty nice. It's open, it's well lit. So I would say that there, that's something I do miss, just maneuvering around in Detroit, seeing those two malls. Now here where I'm at, they got a place called Park Place Mall, but it's not as big like the Somerset Mall. So that's why I say where I'm at, I kind of miss that too, because it's just a lot bigger versus I don't have to drive 2 hours to get that. The very next thing I would say that I miss about Michigan is the industrial field, man. I mean, maybe because it's just a city, it's just industrial. You know, you got the industrial plants that's going on. You can hear like the cars getting worked on and stuff like that. It's very mechanical and stuff like that, especially like being in a city. Like, I don't know, do you guys have that where you at? But like out here, I don't see it quite often. But like just driving on the street, and you know, whether it's cold or not, the steam that comes out the sewer drain, man, and stuff like that, like that is just something that like I miss just driving around and just seeing the plants and stuff, and then just have me remember like the stories my dad used to tell me going to work and stuff like that. And this used to be Buick City, and this used to be where they used to make cars over there off Hamtramck and stuff like that. Plants are at, man, where people spend a lot of time in there, because that is the culture. Everybody knows somebody that work at one of the big three, so it's like nothing to get a discount off a car or something like that. So the industrial field as a whole is something I just miss. It just reminds me more of like blue collar, reminds me more of like overalls, Dickies, like that kind of workman comp type of vibe that people was thriving on and working on back then. So that's what type of vibe it gives me, missing that industrial field. Where out here in Arizona, everything is more spread out. Everything is more like, I would say, wild west type of vibe, I should say. So they don't build up, they build out. So everything is like a 20 or 30 minute drive and so forth, and everything is just desert. Like you can see miles of nothing, but you can see mountains and stuff too. So you got that going for it out here. But yeah, that's all you got. The very last thing I would say that I miss out here being from Detroit, and that is the whole downtown vibe, man. I mean, when I was there, like I left Detroit when I was like 33. I'm 36 now. So just Detroit as a whole, I just watched it just grow up to get to where it is now, and it's constantly growing, steady growing, man. And it's just phenomenal. Like I remember when I was there, like Detroit was the Detroit Pistons was in Auburn Hills. Now, before I left, like the Detroit Pistons got their new arena, the Little Caesars Arena, and they're downtown, and that was like a huge thing, because back then you had to travel like 30 minutes north to go to a Piston game. Then you had to drive back into the city to go to a Detroit Lions game or a Red Wings game or a Tigers game. So the fact that the whole like teams, all the teams, basketball, football, hockey, and baseball, all is down there, Like that is dope. Like, in the fact that you can just enjoy the different teams. Like, you can go to Hockey Town, because that's like a certain thing, and then you go to the Tigers, where that is at, and then you can just enjoy the Fox Theater and everything. So it's just such a vibe down there, that it's just being part of the culture in the downtown, just seeing it grow and everything, and enjoying the river walk and stuff like that. Like, that's something I really miss. Now, with that being said, not gonna ramble on, because those are some things that I do miss. But now we're gonna go into some things that I don't miss ever since I moved out here from Detroit. And that is, the very number one thing is the abandoned homes. Now, that's something I must say I do not like in Michigan. Kind of like hurt your spirit a little bit, because it depends on what side of town you on, what block you riding down on. You can see stuff go from sugar to spit real quick. Like, really, like, you can see a neighborhood that's really nice on one block, and the next block you just see abandoned homes, man. It's just horrible. And within the abandoned homes, you see like the graffiti, you see like squatters, homeless people in there, and siding getting taken off, and just homeless people like just taking copper just to get food and stuff like that. On top of the industrial area, like based on GM, like they did in my hometown, Flint. Like, they used to be there. GM used to be there. That's where my father and them used to like work for that company and stuff like that. And then they left and they moved to Detroit. That's where their headquarters at now. But they left that town like in shambles, with a lot of industrial plants, a lot of industrial sites that's over there that's pretty much got plowed down, that's empty, which along that it impacted the economy a little bit, and left a lot of homes just up there that's abandoned and boarded up windows and stuff like that, and look like trap houses and stuff like that. So that's not cool. That's something I do not miss. Versus out here, I don't see that. The economy out here is completely different, which also leads me to my second thing, is the job culture. That's something that I don't miss out there in Detroit versus out here in Arizona, because in Detroit, the job culture out there is pretty much like all the same. Everybody works for the big three. Everybody knows somebody that worked for GM, Ford, or Chrysler, not really Dodge, or Stellantis now. But everybody worked for the big three, and that's like everybody go. Like, that's your goal. Like, you can get into a plant, or you can get into the headquarters, and you stay working there for the past 15, 20, or 30 years. Like, you golden. Like, you made it. Like, that is the thing out there. You made it. But outside of that, for me, like, I'm in the tech field now. That's my degree in. So I'm more tech industry. They have jobs out there, but it's not like prevalent like that. Like, so for me, I'm forced to like move out unless I create something, innovate there. But as far as me like trying to get jobs working for Google or Microsoft or Apple or something like that in the tech industry or government industry, it's not out there. It's just pretty much big on the automotive industry. But one thing I will also lead to that outside of that industry is that it always have massive layoffs, and that's something I don't like, which made me come out here to Arizona, because I've been with my company for the big three. I was with GM for 7 years, and within those 7 years, like, it was 3 layoffs that I have experienced, and the third one I took the severance package because I was just tired of it. I was fed of it. Like, who want to deal with the stress? Like me, I was bringing in a newborn into this world, and I was worried about the job stability, because GM is known for doing that. And if GM do it, then the next one's gonna follow suit. There's always layoffs going on, and I didn't like that instability like that. So that's one thing I dislike about the job culture out there. Even though it was the end all be all for everybody, I didn't like that culture at all with the layoffs that always have going on, whether you want to work in the plant or in the corporate America. The very third thing that I do not miss about Detroit versus out here in Arizona is that having liquor stores and churches on every corner, man. Like, that is just one thing I just dislike about Detroit, and I do not miss it at all. Like, I don't get how that was approved by the legislation of the lawmakers over there, having a church and a liquor store next door to each other or not too far. Like, I really didn't care for that at all, because it just brought negative things with that, especially homeless people and stuff like that. And it just gave me a bad vibe. Out here, I do not see that at all. Like, and that's kind of nice not to see that. And just maybe it's just the environment and the way how the economy is set up out there in Michigan, or the laws. But out here in Arizona, that doesn't fly. You don't see a liquor store right next to a church or anything. You don't see that many churches too. Like, you see a lot of churches, but they're not like as prevalent, I would say, like in Detroit. And maybe the churches, I know why the churches is like that in Detroit, due to like the Underground Railroad and the slaves and stuff like that, and that's how they was able to escape the South and stuff like that. But in modern days and times, it just seemed like the liquor stores and stuff started building up, and I feel like it's harming the community a little bit. So out here they maneuver a little bit different, and you don't see that much. Usually when you get liquor or anything in Arizona, it's most likely coming from like a grocery store, most likely, or you can get it from like a gas station, but it's very minimal. Like, you'll get beer, but not like hardcore liquor. But like, if you get a liquor, you go to like a Total Wine and liquor store out here, or you'll go directly to like a grocery store pretty much to get like your spirits and stuff like that. Something different, not just a dedicated store. There are some, but they're far few in between. The next thing I would say is that one thing I do not miss about Michigan is the lack of amusement parks. Like, there is like one, like Michigan Adventures, that's far west in the state, but other than that, like, far as things to do for kids, like, there are some things, but it's not like a lot of amusement parks there. Maybe because it's due to the weather, the 4 seasons that we have there. But if you want to enjoy like Six Flags or Cedar Point or Busch Gardens or something like that, you would definitely have to leave out the state. This is something I have noticed when I was out here to Arizona, and they have like a lot of stuff to do, outdoor events. Like, you have Top Golf, you have Tiger Woods putt that they just I forgot the name of it, they just got built here, the outdoor racetrack and stuff like that, made by Hot Wheels and stuff. When we went back home to Michigan, I was like, oh yeah, what's to do? And I realized there really wasn't much to do outside of like going to the malls and stuff and seeing what the malls have with their little small amusement parks. But other than that, like taking my family with kids and stuff, there really wasn't much to do until the kids got older, unless like 8, 9, 10 or whatever, where it's more appropriate. But when I had littles, there really wasn't much to do. And as far as amusement parks, like, you had to go to sister states like Ohio or Kentucky and stuff like that to enjoy like a good amusement park, and I really wasn't liking that at all. So that's something I don't miss about Detroit or Michigan in general, just having that lack of amusement parks. But there's always stuff to do. Like, you're older, so you have, like, based on the seasons, like, you can go to cider mills, you can go to apple orchards. In the wintertime, you can go ice skating in downtown Detroit, you can go snowboard and sled and stuff like that. So there's stuff to do in each season. But that's something else I was just thinking about. If you're just from another state coming in, like, yo, what's to do? You're gonna lack that right there. And last but not least, since we're talking about the different seasons, I do not miss the snow at all. That's something that I must say, like, after dealing with snow for 33 years, like, that is something I do not miss being out here in Arizona. I'm glad that it's optional. I'm glad that I can go up to a mountain, go up to like 8,000, 9,000 feet elevation and just see the snow, and then after that go back down, and then I can enjoy the pool the same day. So that's something else I like. I do like that out here. It does snow in Arizona, which is crazy, which I believe it didn't, because I thought it was like in the Southwest, it's hot all the time. But due to the elevation of the mountains, how high it be up in the sky, there is snow up there, and there is people that stay up there, which is crazy, with some beautiful homes up there, some nice homes up there. But yeah, that's something else I do not miss about Michigan. That's gonna wrap it up. That is 5 things I miss and 5 things I don't miss, as I have relocated to Arizona as my place to be. So if you guys got any questions or any comments, leave them below this video and let me know. Like, have you guys relocated to Arizona, or if not Arizona, what state you have relocated to, and what things you miss and what things you don't miss ever since you moved to your new location. We could talk about it in the comment section. So like that, if you guys enjoyed this video, y'all know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.